Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the PI Guy Saturday morning live stream. It's so good to see everybody here. I will be answering your PI industry related questions as I do on most Saturdays here on the PI Guy channel. Really quick, happy Veterans Day to everybody, and thanks to all the vets out there. Thanks to everyone that has served, and a big thank you as well. Not exclusive, but definitely a big thank you to my eldest son, John, who did serve a couple of tours over there in the sandbox. So thanks to all of the vets out there, and happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps. Yesterday was their 248th birthday. Yes, the United States Marine Corps. Happy birthday to them. Put your questions that you have, any PI industry related questions that you might have, in the chat down below, or you can go into any of my videos. Just a reminder, you can go into any of my videos and you can put in questions. That's where I get a lot of my questions for this show. So you can put them in there, and I will try to get to as many questions as possible. A quick reminder to everybody, I will probably not be doing a live stream on Saturday after Thanksgiving, but you never know. I may wake up that morning and say I want to go live, so you might want to stay tuned. Or the Saturday before Christmas or the Saturday before New Year's. I may not be going live on those Saturdays, but like I said, you never know. If you want to know for sure when I'm going live, check out my Discord. There's a link down below. If you become just a regular member of my Discord channel, and that costs nothing, just become a member of my Discord channel. I always send out notifications there as well here on the channel when I go live. So I see a lot of people hopping in. Thanks so much for joining me. The first thing I want to do really quick is I'm going to go over and I want to tell you about a big thing that I have up on my website right now. If you go over to my website here at freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com and you go up here to my PI books, and you can find everything in here, a lot of information. I have my premium training that's available, but if you come up here to my PI books, it's going to give you a little bit of information about myself, and then right here is the big news. This is my brand new book, Journey into a Private Investigator's World. This is hot off the press. It just released literally like 2 days ago. It has over 20 cases that I actually do case studies, and I walk through how the case went and stuff like that. But it's not just interesting stories. It's case studies and lessons learned. There's a lot of unique lessons in there. There's some real world OJT for private investigators. So if you're interested in those types of stories, check it out. Again, go to freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com. Go to the books up there, and you can click on that link there, and you can check that out. See a lot of people hopping in now. If you have any questions, feel free to hop down into the chat and let me know what your questions are, and we're going to get started here with the questions that I have prepared as soon as I figure all of this out. Here we go. Our very first question is from Shamrock 4230. Again, good morning, everybody. I see you hopping in there. Shamrock says, hey, PI Guy, I'm trying to get into this field and hoping to start a business here in the next month or so. I've mainly been watching your videos for information, and it's helping a lot. Thank you for doing these videos. My pleasure, Shamrock, and thank you for watching them. Any advice for a prospective new PI? Well, one thing that I would suggest, again, going to my website, freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com, you might check out all of my books there, my advanced trainings. You might look, there might be something of interest there. I also have a lot of PI gear in there. But a big piece of advice that I would give to you, Shamrock, is get on the internet and search for your local Private Investigators Association. Whatever state you're in, put in the state. If you're in New York, put New York Private Investigators Association, Colorado Private Investigator Association, whatever. Here in Colorado, it's the PPIAC, Professional Private Investigators Association of Colorado. But get hooked up with your state PI association so you can start networking with people. They usually have lots of training, monthly trainings, different trainings on different types of events or different types of investigation. That would help a lot. That's my biggest advice to everybody that's looking to get into the industry. So I hope that's helpful, Shamrock. our next question, and I see a lot of people hopping in. Go ahead, if you have questions, put them in the chat down below, or again, you can go into any one of my videos and you can put in a question, and I will try to get those up on a future live stream here. Breck Williams had a couple of questions. Hi, I'm new to the PI field and was wondering if you could do a video for PIs and exactly what they can and cannot offer for different background checks. And I am looking into doing a little more. I've had some in the past on some backgrounds. You might want to check those out. In fact, I believe you had seen those. You were looking for some specific information, I believe, on GLBA and things like that. I have some knowledge on that, but not tons and tons. I will try to put together a video sometime in the future that goes more in depth, but I don't do a lot of backgrounds that are related to for employment purposes, for rentals, different things, anything financially related to somebody, like if they're applying for something. I don't do that because of all the complications with GLBA and all of that stuff. But generally speaking, if you're doing a background check for most things, you can produce in that report anything that is of public knowledge. But you want to be very careful. If you're doing a background for somebody and they're just like, well, I want a background on my neighbor, or I want a background on, my ex-girlfriend or something like that, you have to be very careful to not put in personally identifying information. Like, you don't necessarily need to have their date of birth in there, definitely not their social security number, things like that. But whatever you find in your backgrounds, if it's public information, you can put that in there, especially criminal related. A lot of the backgrounds that I do are on criminal backgrounds, be it a witness or somebody else, the other side of the case. They want to know what their criminal background is, things like that. So you can definitely include that into any of that. But you have to be careful to make sure you're not putting lots of personal identifying information. And then it depends on who the background check is going to as well. If you're working for an attorney and they ask you for a background check, you're able to give them a little more information than just the average person, because it's attorney client work product that you're dealing with. So I will try to get another video here sometime in the future that will go a lot more into that GLBLA, whatever all that stuff is, that highly technical stuff as far as doing backgrounds for like employment and things like that. Also, if you could, please provide any information on how a PI could shadow another PI. And as I had mentioned to the previous question, the best way to do that is to get with your state PI association. Just get on Google and do a search for your state Professional Private Investigators Association, or your state Private Investigators Association. Get hooked up with them, do some networking, and talk with some folks. Some of them will do mentoring and things like that, and they may or may not allow it. I don't allow anybody to shadow me. I do some mentoring, but I've never allowed anyone to shadow me just because of liability and different things like that. But a lot of times they'll sit down and they'll give you the stories and let you know. And again, if you go to my website, freeprivateinvestigatortraining.com, my new book, Journey into a Private Investigator's World, go there and you might want to check that out, because that's all real life, real stories that of real cases that I have taken, and that's kind of a little bit of a shadow as well into it. So hopefully that helps. I see a lot of people hopping in. Go ahead, if you have any PI industry related questions, pop them into the chat down below. I will try to get to as many as I can today. Our next question is from Stephen S. Hi there, I'm interested in being a PI, but from a different angle. I'm looking to provide cybersecurity services and digital forensics. Is this something that would be marketable in the PI world? Absolutely, Stephen. Digital forensics is huge in the private investigator world. There's not a lot of people that do it. You have to have specialized skills, specialized equipment, and specialized experience in doing that, but it's very, very big. As well as cybersecurity is very big too. A lot of people that are in the private investigations world will also be in the security world as well. So there's a lot of crossover in there. I would caution you that it's a very, very, very competitive industry, especially digital forensics. Not like there's lots of people out there, but there's not a ton of people that are really good at it, and those that are really good at it, they've got their clients locked in, and they've got their marketing locked in and things like that. So you want to be prepared for that. It will be a little bit of an uphill battle getting your name out there, but it is huge, and it is high dollar. It is high dollar stuff. You know, you're not going to probably be doing digital forensics at $50 or $75 an hour. Most likely you're going to be at $150 to $250 an hour, depending on the market that you're in and the services you're providing. So everyone that's hopping in, thanks so much. If you have questions, pop them into the chat below, and I will try to get to as many as I can. Our next question from KJ. I am currently in college at the moment. I'm interested in TSCM, that's Technical Surveillance Countermeasures, and would like to know what route I should take. I'm waiting on being able to enlist currently in the Army, and I will probably try to get the counterintelligence MOS. I've spoken to private investigators over the phone, and some have been open with me, but not on the experience that's required to do this kind of a sweep. And that is a great question. And I'm probably going to step on a lot of toes out there when I give the answer to this. What kind of experience do you need to do TSCM? Very little. What you have to do is you have to get a little bit of training, and you have to be very determined to follow processes and procedures of doing a sweep. It's not what you know about radio signals. You do not have to have a degree in radio engineering or anything like that. In fact, the less you know, a lot of times, the better off you are. And this comes directly out of REI's training. I use a lot of equipment from REI in Tennessee, such as the Andre Advanced Near Field Detection Receiver. And that's one of the first things they tell you is the less you know, the better, because really you're running a piece of equipment and you are looking for certain pieces of devices out there that might be recording things. You don't need to know what should be on radio frequency 2.45973. It's irrelevant what should be there, because bugs, when they create real spy gear, they don't care what laws they may break. They will stick it in whatever. So it doesn't really matter anything that you know about that. You really have to be willing to take the training. If you're going to get into it as a PI, as a private citizen, I would suggest looking at some of the equipment that Andre has, or that REI has, such as the Andre, Mesa, different things like that, and go and take their training. And you don't have to buy their equipment to take their training. Now, it is a week-long training for their basic introduction, but it will give you so much information on how to actually do a sweep, because a lot of it is really doing the process properly and watching the equipment and knowing what you're looking for on the equipment that you're using. It doesn't matter what you know about radio frequency signals or anything like that. Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there that have, 100 years of military experience doing TSCM sweeps, or law enforcement, or FBI, or whatever, and they're gonna say, oh, no, you have to know about that. But if I would tell them, if you sit down and really think about it, it's not. That knowledge doesn't help. It will help you to be able to talk the talk, to be able to do the sales, but it doesn't necessarily help you in the walk-to-walk do a bug sweep. So I hope that helps. See a lot of people hopping in here. If you have questions, put them in the chat down below, or you can go into any of my videos, and I will try to get questions in any of my videos up on a future PI Guy live stream on most Saturdays. Again, I want to remind everybody, I probably will not be broadcasting on the Saturday after Thanksgiving or the Saturday before Christmas or New Year's. Now, you never know. I may get up on those Saturdays and really want to come live, and I'll come on and do it if I have a lot of questions and stuff like that, because I really, really enjoy doing this. But it's also the holidays, have family coming in, a lot of things going on, so I may not. Cryptic T, he has our next question. I recently filled out an application on Indeed, which directed me to the company's main website, and then he had the link for the Indeed posting there, which I'm not going to put in there. It is for an entry-level surveillance investigator. My question to you as a business owner and PI, have you heard of this company? And I'm not going to throw the company's name out there. Just don't need to be advertising for anybody or potential slander or anything like that. What are your thoughts on them? The position doesn't require a license and you don't need experience in the field. What are your thoughts? I did check out the ad. I do not know the company that was involved with it. I've heard the name, but I don't really know anything about it. It did look like a legitimate job. It's a very entry-level job. It was a lower-paying job. If I remember right, it was like 17 or 19 bucks an hour or something like that. And that's what a lot of those lower-level ones are. They're great to get in to the industry, taking on those types of jobs. If you have a plan, I believe what you want to do then is have a plan, a long-term plan like I did, because when I got started, I was working for a larger firm making a lot less than I do now. But I had a long-term plan, and I knew within 3 years where I wanted to be in 5 years and things like that. And I used that as a way to get my experience as a private investigator because I had none when I got started. So I think that would be pretty good. They say that you don't require a license. A lot of them will say that you can work under their license. They will have a license in most states. You want to kind of look at that and probably study the states that they're doing the work in and see if that actually counts. I know like when we had licensing here in Colorado, my license wouldn't have covered you. Now I have a private investigator's firm license, a company license in the city of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And for that covers anybody that works for me there. The state of Wyoming doesn't have PI licensing, but the city of Cheyenne does. So it all kind of depends on whether that'll really cover. But usually they say that'll cover and they'll send you that license and things like that. And a lot of them, they don't require any experience. They'll have you watch some videos. They'll, a lot of times, some of them will provide you with all the equipment, provide you with a vehicle, or they will reimburse you for your vehicle expenses and internet costs and different things like that. The thing you have to remember, though, is those are usually jobs. You are their employer. So, unlike me, I get up every morning and I get to decide what I'm going to do. Now, I have a lot of cases and stuff. But I get to decide what cases I'm going to take, what cases I'm not going to take, what I'm going to work on that day. As an employee, they're going to send you out, and you're going to have to go here, and you're going to have to go here, and you're going to have to do what they tell you. And I have known PIs that work for some of these national firms that they will go, to Idaho and work 3 cases, and then to Montana and work 2 cases, and then down to California and work a few cases, and then out to Colorado and work some cases. They bounce you all over the place, or in regions like that. So you have to be prepared for that. It's a job. You can't say no. I mean, you can, but you'd probably lose your job. But it's a great way to get experience if you have no experience. And Manuel Otero, I have D&G license in Florida. Is there any entry level for PI in Florida? I don't know if there is for that. I mean, you might be able to get with like a national firm again, Manuel. But if you have your license, I would say that's great. If you have your PI licenses there, get hooked up with your state PI association. FALI, F-A-L-I, the Florida Association of Licensed Investigators. Check them out. I am a member of FALI. I'm not licensed in Florida, but I am a member of the Florida Association of Licensed Investigators as well. I'm a member of CALI in California, TALI in Texas, PPIC here in Colorado, ASIS, which is an International Security and Investigation Specialists organization, NCISS. I have a lot of different affiliations there, but I would say, Manuel, check with FALI and see if you can get hooked up with some of the people there. A lot of them will have mentoring programs or they'll have training, and just the networking will get you, help you get a lot of those jobs out there. So that is all the questions I am seeing for today. So I'm going to end it, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Have a great weekend, and again, Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there.